Are you bombarded by so much information? Your head's ready to explode when it comes to evaluating all these health products and foods, all these new things on the market. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today on this edition of Lean Healthy Ageless. Hi, Dana Dimitri here, and I'm the co-author of the Eat, Live, Thrive diet. And with me, you can see my great friend, Dr. Patti Milligan. She is a nutrition expert and the creator of the Jet Renewal Kit, which was designed for travel immunity and well-being. So you need to check that out if you're having any air travel in your life in the next few months. Okay, Patti, we know people get bombarded. I bombard you all the time because, Robin and I are researchers. We are always trying to help sort and filter for our audience the latest, greatest food. Everybody's like, eat this, eat that, mushrooms, beets, reds, greens, supplements. So you have some great advice for our audience of how to sort some of this information so you can take a breath. I mean, I hope we do that to some degree for our people, but we can't be experts on everything, right?
Exactly.
So throw us some good tips for being discerning.
Yes. Well, and earlier we talked about sorting and sifting, which I think is so great because we think of doing laundering, we sort and we sift. We go through a junk drawer and we sort and we sift. So something you keep, something you give away, and something you throw away. Yes. So I like to think of that when you look at nutritional research, or I should say look at nutrition claims. How do you know what to keep, what to question, and what to definitely throw away? So I have the 3-point rule. Okay. And the first one, I like to call it culinary anthropology, meaning let's go back in time. Let's go back to our great-great-great-grandmother. Would this have been something in her world that might be attached to what we're finding out in science?
The foods. Would she really eat this?
Yes, exactly. And I think a great example that we used is, she wouldn't have called it bone broth, but we definitely know that there's historical accounts of cooks that would take, bones and carcasses and cook them down to a broth, right, and then feed them to their family.
That collagen, that gelatin, all the benefits leached out of that marrow.
Exactly right. And then all the amino acids now we know as far as that. The other one is, how many of us were raised where chicken soup was given to us when we have a cold. Yes. Now we have the double-blind clinical trials for that, right? Mm-hmm. So I like to say, first and foremost, would this have had any history that we have now been able to verify with research? Number one. Second is, put your scientific hat on, whether or not you have a science degree or not. I don't think you need to, but I think you need to say, let me see who funded this. And that always isn't easy, but that should be a clue in itself. And second, when they're touting a study, how big of a population study is, because we know we're so bio-individual. So if the study is only on 8 people, it might be something to wait until they have studies on a few hundred, right?
Right.
And then in that, where are the conclusions? In other words, when the researchers went out to look at this, was the study 2 weeks, 10 years? Because when we make modifications in nutrition, typically you want it to be something that stays with you for a long time.
Right.
So
not all studies are equal. In fact, they are the whole gamut.
Exactly right.
So we look for the quality of the study, that's a little harder to discern. So double-blind studies. But again, who's talking about it? Who's funding it? Now, what are some of your red flags?
Yes. Well, certainly if when you look at, in terms of this area, if the research is funded by the company that's selling the food or supplement, that's kind of a red flag. Second, if you read the research and then you go to, let's say, DuckDuckGo or Google, or even one of my favorites is PubMed, and you go to try to find another study maybe about that food or supplement, and there is none except for this one author, that's kind of a red flag too.
Okay.
Yeah. And then thirdly, I would say use your intuition, right? I mean, just in terms of when you look at all the plethora of things, where do you want to spend your money? And I say that, and I know this is what you do so eloquently in the book, is to guide people that there are certain things that should be just foundational in our life, and those we want highest quality as we can. So I would always get nervous when I was in the aisles when I worked at Sprouts Farmers Market. was when people spend way more money in supplements than they did their food budget.
Yes.
Because we still are meant to eat food. And I know you have a great philosophy about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing. Supplementation is just meant to be that. Technically, it's a supplement to what you're doing as a foundation with food. The reality is, we look at our lifestyle, we look at our budget and all those things,
Yes.
and am I getting in enough of these nutrients in my foods? Even if I'm trying my best to eat on a consistent basis, where am I at right now?
Yes.
And you and I both know, as we've aged and done so much of the research,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good supplements, and we are taking a lot, but we also step back periodically and go, time to sort and sift.
Yes.
Not only the information coming at us, but what am I taking now? Have I notched up my nutrition enough to let something off?
Right.
And all those kinds of things. So we just thought today, especially early in the new year, you're going to get bombarded by so much information. Some of it will be great, some of it will be not so great, that this might help you be a better discerner of what you're going to add into your healthy lifestyle in 2022.